Napoleon Bonaparte was born on the 15th of August in the year 1769 on the island of Corsica, which was then under French control. He was born into a minor Italian noble family, but his ambitions and talents quickly propelled him into the world of French military and political power. In his early youth, he attended military school in mainland France, where he honed his skills in mathematics and artillery, laying the foundation for his future military career. His early career as a second lieutenant in the French army led him to rise rapidly through the ranks, especially during the Revolutionary Wars. The French Revolution began in the year 1789, and it fundamentally reshaped French society, ending centuries of monarchy, feudalism, and religious dominance. Napoleon aligned himself with the revolutionaries, recognizing the military potential of the changing political landscape. In 1793, he played a crucial role in the siege of Toulon, which brought him to the attention of revolutionary leaders and allowed him to climb the military ladder swiftly. By the year 1796, Napoleon had become a general, leading the French army in Italy and achieving significant victories over the Austrians and their allies. The Italian campaign and the rise to power. Napoleon's Italian campaign, which lasted from the year 1796 to 1797, solidified his reputation as a military genius. The series of victories over Austria and its allies, coupled with his diplomatic prowess, helped to expand French influence over much of Italy. His success allowed him to establish the Cisalpine Republic in northern Italy, further strengthening France's grip on the region. In 1798, Napoleon embarked on an Egyptian campaign, intending to weaken British access to the Indian Ocean while attempting to establish a French presence in the Middle East. The campaign was a military failure, but it was also marked by significant discoveries, including the Rosetta Stone, which would later become crucial in deciphering ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. Napoleon's return from Egypt in 1799 was timely, as France was in political turmoil. He seized this opportunity to overthrow the Directory, the ruling body, and in a coup d'état, established the consulate, placing himself as first consul, effectively becoming the ruler of France. Napoleon as first consul. Napoleon consolidated his power as first consul and initiated a series of reforms aimed at stabilizing France. He implemented the Napoleonic Code, which became one of his most enduring legacies. This legal code, established in the year 1804, was designed to unify French laws and provide clear, accessible legal structures. It guaranteed certain rights, including equality before the law and religious freedom, and it laid the groundwork for legal systems in many countries across the world. Napoleon's reforms also extended to education, infrastructure, and economic policies, including the establishment of the Bank of France in the year 1809. Despite his authoritarian tendencies, Napoleon was widely seen as a reformer who modernized the French state. His ability to maintain internal stability while continuing to expand French influence made him a highly popular leader among the French people. However, his increasing power also led to the rise of many enemies across Europe, who saw him as a threat to the established order. The creation of the empire. In the year 1804, Napoleon declared himself Emperor of the French, effectively ending the Revolutionary era and establishing the Napoleonic Empire. This title was confirmed by a referendum, and his coronation took place in December of that year in the presence of Pope Pius VII. In a symbolic gesture, Napoleon took the crown from the Pope and crowned himself, signaling his belief in the supremacy of his authority over the Church. His empire quickly expanded as he conquered much of Europe, including the Italian peninsula, the Iberian Peninsula, and large swaths of Central and Eastern Europe. Napoleon's imperial ambitions were reflected in his military campaigns, which spread French influence far and wide. His armies defeated the major coalitions formed against him, including the Third Coalition, which included Britain, Russia, and Austria. The Treaty of Tilsit in the year 1807, signed with Tsar Alexander I of Russia, was a turning point in Napoleon's control over Europe. With much of the continent under his influence or direct control, Napoleon sought to establish a new order based on French dominance and the spread of revolutionary principles, although his authoritarian rule made him many enemies. The Napoleonic Wars. The period from 1799 to 1815, known as the Napoleonic Wars, was marked by nearly constant conflict across Europe. Napoleon's military genius was evident in battles such as the Battle of Austerlitz in the year 1805, where he decisively defeated the Russian and Austrian armies, consolidating his dominance over Central Europe. However, despite his successes on the battlefield, Napoleon's expansionist policies and efforts to impose the continental system, a blockade aimed at weakening Britain economically, faced increasing resistance from other European powers. The Peninsula War, which began in 1808, saw France engaged in a prolonged conflict on the Iberian Peninsula. Napoleon's attempt to install his brother, Joseph Bonaparte, as King of Spain led to widespread resistance, and the Spanish, supported by the British under the Duke of Wellington, fought to expel French forces. This war drained French resources and left Napoleon vulnerable to other military challenges. The Fall of Napoleon. Napoleon's downfall began in the year 1812 with his disastrous invasion of Russia. The Russian campaign, which aimed to force Tsar Alexander I to comply with the continental system, ended in failure. Napoleon's army, which had numbered more than 600,000 men, was decimated by the harsh Russian winter, logistical difficulties, and constant attacks by Russian forces. Only a fraction of the Grande Armée made it back to France. This defeat marked the beginning of a series of military setbacks for Napoleon. In the year 1814, Napoleon faced the Sixth Coalition, which included Britain, Prussia, Russia, Spain, and several other European states. The coalition forces marched into Paris, forcing Napoleon to abdicate in April of that year. He was exiled to the island of Elba, but he would return to France in 1815 for a brief period known as the 100 Days, the 100 Days in Waterloo. Napoleon's return to power in the year 1815 was met with enthusiasm by many in France, who had grown disillusioned with the restored Bourbon monarchy. However, his brief return was marked by renewed conflict. The Seventh Coalition, which included Britain, Prussia, Austria, and the Netherlands, quickly mobilized against him. On the 18th of June, 1815, Napoleon faced the Duke of Wellington and the Prussian forces at the Battle of Waterloo in present-day Belgium. The battle ended in a decisive defeat for Napoleon, and he was forced to abdicate once again. This time, he was exiled to the island of St. Helena, a remote British territory in the South Atlantic Ocean. Napoleon would spend the remaining years of his life there, dying on the 5th of May in the year 1821. His death marked the end of an era in European history. The legacy of Napoleon. Napoleon Bonaparte's legacy is complex and enduring. While his military campaigns caused immense destruction across Europe, his influence on the legal, administrative, and social systems of the countries he controlled was profound. The Napoleonic Code, for example, remains a foundational legal text in many countries today. Additionally, his military innovations, such as the use of corps and the emphasis on rapid, decisive battles, shaped modern warfare. Napoleon's reign also led to the spread of nationalist sentiments across Europe. His conquests brought different peoples into contact with each other, and his ideas of equality, citizenship, and the rule of law helped to foster a sense of unity and identity among many Europeans. Even in defeat, Napoleon's figure continued to inspire political movements and ideas across the continent. Despite his controversial and often tyrannical methods, Napoleon is remembered as one of the greatest military minds in history. His influence on the world stage extended beyond his lifetime, and his complex legacy continues to be a subject of debate among historians, politicians, and scholars alike.